Hey guys, and welcome back to Raymore Repair. Winter's coming, as they say, and I happened to trash pick up a snowblower. It is a Storm 2410, 24-inch cut, Troy-Bilt snowblower. And I have no idea why this was left out on the curb. And I just picked it up. I picked it up probably 6 months ago, but I waited till it was starting to get cool in the fall. Today is November 2nd, I think it is, here in Kansas City, and it's looking just a little cool, a little drab. So, time to get the snowblowers out and get them going. Well, here we go. Now, I've never had a snowblower like this. I had an old one that I fixed one time, but I've never had one this modern or this fancy or this nice. And I noticed it's got a slot here for a key or ignition interrupt, whatever you want to call it. And I don't have that. So we're going to take this off and see exactly what it takes to bypass this temporarily. And we'll see what we can do to get some spark. Now it looks like there's just a series of 10mm bolts around here to pull off the top part of this. I think they call it a hot box. But anyway, it just kind of goes over the carburetor and around there, around the muffler to pick up some heat. Oddly enough, you use snowblowers a lot when it's cold, so they want to keep some heat in them. That one I can't get to with the super cool ratchet, and those two I cannot either. So, it's back to the wrench. I'm hoping this one has a slot it can slide out. I'm going to have to take the belt cover off to get the screw out that holds down the hot box. Snowblower things. There we go. Little tugging and she come right off. That's the cover that goes over the belts in front of the engine. That allows me to get to the screw that holds this sweetheart on. Looks like we just got a couple more here to go. Now, as I said before, I have no idea what's actually happened to this thing, why it's no longer functioning. Oh, look. Now, the real question is, does it pull these wires apart or does it make contact with them? Looks like it just separates them. So let's just temporarily, and for testing purposes only, disconnect one of these. That should allow us to have spark if I'm thinking about this even remotely right. That's got a kill on it too. So we'll run this over mid-range or so. We need to check spark. But first we need to check our oil. So let's see, I don't know if there's a good way to do this. Snowblower things. Yep, it only has the spigot on that side for checking the oil. All right, let's check the oil in this sweetheart. We still got this, oh, that does come off out of the way. There we go. Yeah, stuff's coming out right now. So we are way past full. So let's just drain whatever's in here. And we'll discover if it's water or if it's fuel that's contaminating this so bad. They have added a drain tube onto this thing, but the drain tube ends right at the same surface as this. So instead of making it a ½ inch longer so it wouldn't drizzle down through here, I suspect we're going to get oil dripping off way down here if we take that out. Yeah, so let me find a small funnel to stick on there, and that way we can subdue our mess just a little bit. So far on this American-made Troy-Bilt snowblower, everything has been a 10mm. Oh, she is thin. Yep, I would say smell test says she's got a lot of old fuel in it. Bet you that gas tank's empty. I'm going to stay here and babysit this just a minute and let it drain on down. That looks like a pretty good portion of whatever's in there. I'll put this drain plug back in before I move my funnel. There we go. Let's just take a look at what we got out of this sweetheart. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty good mixture of oil and gas. Yep. I think I know what happened to this. Now there is still a little bit of fuel in here. And I just don't think it's in very good shape. Let's just go ahead and drain all that fuel out of there. We'll start over with some fresh. All right, you're looking up at the float bowl here, and I'm going to take the float bowl off and just kind of get an idea of what all's in here. And once again, we're going to use a 10mm wrench, I think. Certainly enough. See what evil lurks in the side of here. Well, some incredibly old fuel coming out. Yeah, it's not very good. It has a greenish hue and there's a bunch of junk built up in that bowl. So let's go ahead and clean the carburetor. Would it really be a power equipment video if we didn't clean the carburetor? All right, in preparation to pull the carburetor, I have disconnected the primer bulb and also the kill switch wires, the other kill switch wire. Still don't know if we have a spark, but we can check that while we're cleaning the carburetor. This should pull off. Don't know how well. This big knob come off first. Yep, I think we'll go pop that knob off there and we'll be able to get to whatever's under it. Got to be some linkage under there considering that's a throttle knob or a choke knob. No screw in the middle of it. Can you turn it to full choke and find a path for it to come out? Let me take a look. No, maybe we can get the linkage done after we pull this off. I don't know. This has got a big nubbin on it too that's going to be in the way. Ooh, I think it pulls off. Yeah. You just have to pull really, really hard. Come on, little knob. I'm trying to fix you. As I tell people at work, I didn't buy it, I didn't break it. I'm just going to fix it. Ah, there we go. Whew. I'm thinking my choke knob ought to do the same thing. Oh, this goes way over here. Holy cow. Wonder what's over there holding it on. Jeepers, goes clear across the engine. Well, the same screw that holds on the place where you hook up your extension cord for your electric start seems to have it trapped. This thingy right here is where you plug in your extension cord and hit the button and the electric start makes her go. It seems to be what holds on that little cover that goes clear across the engine too. So let's take that loose. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now we're cooking. We'll just let that dangle there. All right. Now then, back to getting this off if we can. Oh, can we? Goodness gracious, I think so. Let's see what we got caught here. That's the wiring. Let's go around there. This is the primer bulb hose. We'll slide it out of there. Slide it out of there. There we go. And our choke linkage, even though you can't see it, you're going to have to believe me, I'm disconnecting it. Well, I'm attempting to disconnect it right now. From one end or the other. Oh, come off the carburetor end. Let's let that dangle. We'll pull this. Sweet wire. There we go. All right, that piece is out of the way. This is the linkage that goes to the choke. That is where the choke linkage goes on the carburetor. It's right there. And that little hole, wee little hole right there. Can you see it? No, not really. It's that one right there. All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we'll go ahead and pull this carburetor off here. But I got to unhook our fuel line, and that's going to make a mess. So let's crimp it off till we're ready to drain it the rest of the way down. All right, I got a fuel line crimper offer device. We'll stick it on here and shove it real hard. Maybe that'll stop the flow. I'm not so sure. Grab me a pair of hose pliers here, and we'll work that clamp back off the carburetor. Kind of like that. There we go. Then we'll flip them around and grab them with this thing and move that hose off the barb. Off the spigot? I don't know. Okay, we're going to hook our spring going to our governor linkage and then our governor wire itself. Get a pair of straight long needle nose pliers for this. Come in under the handlebar. Boop. Slide this back a touch farther. Then we'll be able to get our choke or governor linkage off easier. There we go. And now we should be like Willie and be free. Yeah. Let's tear this thing down and then we'll get it into the Vibratron, the carb cleaner, and we'll see about everything else. Alrighty. Here's a carburetor and we already got the bowl off of it. We've seen that. We're going to go ahead and take this thing apart. Or our float's stuck, or our float needle is stuck. Let's persuade it just a touch and see if we can get it to come out of there without tearing it up. There we go. Yeah, she has some green goo around her right there at the top. And I don't know, I think there is a main jet in here. Although I didn't bring a tool to actually take one out. All right, let's get after that main jet. Oh, wow. I think she come loose. I'm always scared of just rounding off the brass in there. And that always makes for a big mess. Harder times. There it is. She's kind of green too. We certainly are not wasting our time here. It's going to be worthwhile to get this thing taken care of. Get our gasket over there without completely, yeah, without destroying it. Hot dog. What about this side? Press our luck. It's a little tougher. Let me get a razor blade. Try to not spend any money on this so I don't have to. If I have to, I will, but I don't want to just be all generous about it. There we go. Off in one piece. Boy, I thought I shot my finger there, but I didn't. She was close, though. Oh, look, we got a different kind of a thing in there. Like a half moon or a D shape that you're supposed to use to get that out. How clever. That's just to set the idle. Didn't really realize this thing would ever run in an idle. Man, this thing's all kinds of cool. There's our pilot jet. Yep, it's plastic. Put our little pieces in the little cup here. All right, let's put this in the Vibratron and I'll bring you back when we get some more stuff done. All right, we need to go ahead and check spark in this sweetheart. Get our spark plug wire off. We'll get our spark plug out of here and see what we got. Now I have the extension cord hooked up to this so the electric start will work. I'm not real sure if it works or not, but we're going to give it a shot checking spark here. Got us a torch, F6RTC. I have no idea what any of that means. But we're going to check some spark. So look right here, and we'll see if we got spark. I'm gonna reach around here and push the button for the electric start. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that was on stop mode instead of go mode. Now it's in go. Yep. Lots of spark. You know what? Before we put this plug back in here, let's give it the old single-digit compression test. Let me see if I can get one. I'm going to put this to off. Whew. And then I'm going to reach in here with a single digit if I can get it there. Maybe that finger back. There we go. Now we're close. Okay. Here we go. Yep, it's popping my finger back. So the single digit says we do have compression. And we have spark when it's not in the off position. So we'll screw our plug back in. Check our oil. Now you just have to believe me that I put oil in this thing. Alrighty, let's check our Earl. Why, would you look at that? We're right at the hole and you can see this is pretty fresh looking oil. Should we give it just a squirt of carb cleaner here and see if this thing has a chance of popping to life? Reach around here and push the button. Here we go. Yep, that's pretty cool. Alrighty, we got most of our carb clean here, and I'm going to spray just a little bit of carb cleaner through this pilot jet to make sure it's clean, and try not to squirt myself in the eye. Because you get the stuff in your eye, you really know you got it in your eye. And it's blowing out just fine. So we got that, let's go ahead and put it in. He goes up on top here, in this hole, right there. Shoving down in there, kind of like that. And then we have, oh, there he is. This little idle screw goes in and holds that in there. So we'll stick that in here. Something else that has a half moon shape to it. We never did get this screw out over here, but I'm going to see if it'll run without taking that out of there. And we'll set our idle kind of like, just kind of guessing here, so it's open a little ways. It might be too much, might not be enough. You know, you just never know until we actually get this thing going. And on this side, we'll put our float in. Slide our float needle down into its hole. Just kind of like that. It moves pretty good. Float pin. Doesn't go in there, it goes in here, kind of like this. I think that'll do just fine. Our rubber gasket's still in place. Put our main jet in. He's nice and clean. Put him down in the hole. Get the screwdriver after it. Chase him on in. Try not to tear up the brass. There we go. That's pretty much all that goes in the bowl. And shoop, we'll put our bowl on. And we'll take a look and see if there's any way it's pushing down. Sometimes you have to pop these back out a little bit. So let's figure out how we want this. This is going to go in the engine like that. And we'll set our bowl kind of like that. Hopefully we can get to the drain once it's on. We may have to loosen that up just a bit and turn it to make sure we can get access to it. Because on this super seasonal equipment, like a snowblower, you want to make sure you can actually get the gas drained out of it if you need to. And give it a light snug. This does not have to be super tight. And that's pretty much all there is to this carburetor. There's not much to it. So let's get this installed, and then we'll move on and see if we can make this sweetheart run. All right, we got our gasket started on here. And we'll put our carburetor on here as well. And just let him push the gasket up. We got to hook up our governor. Otherwise, nothing's going to work if we don't do that. That's in there. See if that'll actually turn back now. So Seems kind of super stiff. There we go. Then we need to hook up our little spring that keeps the bounce out of the governor. He hooks right there. Let's go and hook up our fuel line while it's trying to fight us here. Take our clamp off that, which is pretty much empty anyway. But we'll go ahead and slide our clamp up on our fuel line. There we go. I think that'll work. Alrighty, I got the choke knob pulled off that other thing when we took it apart and couldn't get it off. Well, it's off now. Unfortunately, the linkage come off too, so we're gonna have to kind of mount this back on here and figure out how the heck all this went. I'm gonna guess that went like that. I need to put my fuel clamp pointing more downry. Let's see if that actually works now. By gosh, it does. So I'm gonna guess that goes like that. You know, just guessing, but thinking it does. This is our next piece of plastic that goes in here. And it has a groove around it that this primer bulb hose set in. Kind of like that, and it come up here to the primer bulb. Being the primer bulb holes and all. Alrighty, we got our hot box put back on. We got our cover over our carburetor put on. We got all that fought. And now then, we're gonna put the hot box back on it. I guess that's what you call these. It's where the carburetor sucks heat around from the exhaust. So when you're running these things in super cold weather, they don't freeze the carburetor up. Another one of these screws right down in here, and one right here. So we'll get those started real quick. I'm gonna kind of leave you down here, and I'm just gonna reach around the snowblower, not you, and start this sweetheart up again. Contact. Certainly helped at an idle. So I think the next thing to do is to make sure that this thing will actually run the auger and this is a 2-stage one, and make sure the auger and everything works. And then we'll make sure the ground drive works. So let's do that real quick. I got a camera person here.
Hi.
And she's gonna run the camera while I run the snowblower. And I have her pointed at the front, and we'll see if this thing works. Poke the camera, or don't poke it in there. Make it look right there. And we'll see if this sweetheart works. All right, let's check out our ground drive. Well, pretty much everything works. So I think that's where we're going to end this one. We got this sweetheart running, and I know the transmission is good on it. I did check the little oil in the front there and the gear case up there, and it's good. This gear case right down in here, and we have plenty of lubrication in that. So like the video if you would, subscribe if you want to. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it really helps us out. And I just want to say thank you for watching this video and clicking on it. And as always, God bless, and good Lord willing, I'll see you on the next one.